Whoa, whoa, whoa! The last couple of weeks at OpenAI were nothing short of spicy and dramatic. I mean, they love their CEO, and once the board decided to fire him, they made sure that they see the board's back. Now, who are they? OpenAI's employees. So what exactly happened at OpenAI? Let's find out. Now, before I jump into this whole drama, let me establish this point that OpenAI is a startup, but it behaves like a legacy company. Now, why am I saying this? To connect all the dots, let's jump into the company's history. Established as a non-profit organization with contributions from individuals such as Elon Musk, OpenAI aimed to ensure that AI benefits all of humanity. By 2019, the necessity for significant expansion in model size required substantial funding, amounting to millions of dollars, primarily allocated for training models on cloud computing servers. In response to this challenge, OpenAI took action in 2019 by creating a capped profit entity alongside its non-profit status. At this point, I think it is important to mention that Sam Altman alone was behind this idea of commercialization. You need to have this in mind as we proceed in this video, because things are going to intersect at this point again. Now, when this entity was formed, this allowed for returns to investors, capped at 100 times, with any excess profits directed back to the nonprofit. It didn't take long for OpenAI as they achieved remarkable success in form of funding round that valued the organization at over $80 billion. Now, OpenAI still at this point had no products or services in the market, but still, the salary structure at OpenAI, especially for roles like software engineers, includes a median salary of $900,000 with a $300,000 base and the remaining portion in stock options. This compensation level is comparable to that offered by major tech companies such as Google and Microsoft, despite OpenAI's origins as a startup. Until now, I have established two things. A. OpenAI never behaved like a startup, and B. Altman likes to roll off products to start making money as soon as possible. These two factors, in my opinion, actually serve as the impetus to what happened on Friday, 17th of November. Guess what caught the attention of four savvy minds on the board? They've got a hunch that something funky is going down in the research centers. And guess who's not in the loop? None other than Sam Altman. Let me introduce the brilliant minds behind this revelation. First up, we've got Ilya Sutskever, the brainiac who held the fort as chief scientist at the company. Then there's Tasha Macau, a startup maven in robotics and geospatial technology, not to mention a big shot effective altruist. Helen Tonner, the public policy whiz from Washington, D.C., also joined the squad. Last but not least, we've got Adam D'Angelo, the Quora bigwig himself, holding the reins as CEO. The board members, having the majority in their hands, decided to throw Altman and Greg Brockman. The case for Greg was a bit different. He was not being fired, he was just being removed from the board. Greg was originally going to keep his position as president at the company, but he decided to resign later the same day in protest. The news circulated quickly, taking many people off guard, particularly Microsoft and other partners, who appeared to be unaware of the upcoming change. Twitter was full of posts, some supporting Altman, while others mocking Altman over losing his own job to AI. The reason for Sam's removal was initially attributed to his inconsistency in telling the truth, as stated by the board. But was he hiding something? I don't know, but as the clock ticked, more details came out. A new narrative surfaced that Sam had assigned the same project to two individuals, which, to be honest, in my opinion, is not a severe transgression by any means. Anyways, Sam tried to overturn the board's judgment. According to reports, he even went in person to talk with the board. Both Sam and the board did agree on something initially, but then the latter changed their minds and missed a 5 p.m. deadline, by which many staff were slated to resign and accompany Sam and Greg out of the headquarters. At this point, everyone thought OpenAI will be the Apple of 2023, a company which fired its own founder. But this wasn't so simple. OpenAI fans took the keyboard by storm. Employees started to opt out, and more importantly, the company's investors found themselves in the middle of an oblivion. The Middle Eastern sovereign funds, one of the company's investors, decided not to hold their money, which they offered at $80+ billion valuation. You'll be astonished to find out that Microsoft actually owns a whopping 49% of OpenAI. Cue the entrance of a savior, just like something out of a novel. In this cinematic twist, Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, stepped onto the scene and initiated some crucial conversations. At first, he floated the idea to Sam of establishing a new company within Microsoft, bringing along all the individuals who had opted to depart OpenAI alongside him. This marked the birth of another news, saying that Altman and Brockman are joining Microsoft. 700 out of 770 employees also decided to follow suit. And to add more to the drama, Sam made a tweet expressing affection for the company, and this led to another drama. Mira Moratti, who assumed the role of interim CEO at OpenAI, showed her alignment with Sam and Greg. Despite the board's opposition, she committed to rehiring Sam and Greg, sparking yet another controversy. A public outcry ensued, with over 90% of OpenAI's workforce signing an open letter demanding the board's resignation. In a surprising turn, Microsoft's Satya Nadella pledged to match OpenAI salaries, providing a tempting offer for departing employees. Under intense pressure, the board grappled with the prospect of losing a significant portion of the company's workforce. The architect behind this layoff, Ilya, decided to change tactics midway through the conflict and extend his support to Altman. This move left the board baffled with only 3 votes. The dynamics of the situation had now shifted dramatically. But why did Ilya back off? I don't have a clear answer to this, but many claim that Ilya is a person with a calm personality, and he decided to adapt for the greater good of the company. But what exactly happened? As I tried to find answers, I stumbled upon yet another intriguing turn in this narrative. There were murmurs suggesting that Sam and his associates might have clandestinely accomplished a form of artificial general intelligence, AGI, sparking discord with the board on the path forward. Sam Altman, known for swiftly navigating market trends, aimed to capitalize promptly, while the board, headed by Ilya, harbored deep reservations regarding safety. Yet, I leave it up to you. Isn't this theory somewhat dangling? What would prompt Ilya to later forsake his principles and align with Sam? Now, Ilya was clear, and most experts started nominating Adam D'Angelo to be the mastermind of this whole movement. He was facing the heat because of a conflict of interest, as his other company had recently launched PO, a tool for programming custom chatbots using English. Now, let's go back a few days before all this happened, when OpenAI released their latest GPT models. Around that time, Adam shared his concerns and suggested a response to OpenAI's developments, framing it as an AI safety concern. Other board members, committed to altruistic goals and preventing AI dominance, got involved too. Little did they know that Microsoft would announce the hiring of Sam and Greg. Now, all they could do was try to bring them back. The situation was a mess, with Sam getting fired, the interim CEO suggesting rehiring him, and subsequent changes in leadership. Emmett Shear, the former CEO of Twitch, even joined the negotiations to bring Sam back. And that's where the story takes another unexpected turn. I mean, this story is way more dramatic than the thriller I am currently watching on Netflix. Long story short, negotiations finally concluded late on Tuesday, with Sam and Greg returning to the company. Most details had been settled 2 days earlier, with the additional time spent deciding which board member would take responsibility. The board was reluctant to admit their fault and wanted to do some face-saving. They never told why he was fired at the first place, and they never told why they are hiring him again. Ilya, Helen, and Tasha had already left the board, while Adam remained because he just wanted to stay in charge. The current interim board comprises Adam Brett Taylor, co-CEO of Salesforce, and Lauren Summers, a former Treasury Secretary. Despite the Thanksgiving break at OpenAI, employees didn't fully disengage. Instead, they remained active in office affairs to handle the ongoing drama and finalize negotiations before Thanksgiving. Fortunately, they successfully navigated through these challenges. Now, since we are still in kind of an oblivion about why Altman was fired in the first place, one common question needs to be addressed. That question is, was he splitting his attention towards other ventures? I think that this might be a possibility. Individuals of his caliber typically diversify their investments. Sam had been presenting various business opportunities, but for him, as well as many other entrepreneurs, it's just part of the regular business routine. Subscribe to Innovella for more blues from the world of AI. It's still unclear if Sam Altman had already made some kind of an AGI, but I know a company that is already close. It's none other than our GPU favorites, Nvidia. Have they developed the world's first AGI? Click on the video link popping up to find out, and I'll catch you there in a second.